Attention. We now have control of your streaming device.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? How are
What's
you
up?
tonight?
Hello, my darlings.
Fantastic. How about you, Cap? How are you?
Welcome back. Oh, better than I deserve, brother. Better than I
hear ya.
deserve. Just trying to get through this time of year is tough. I mean, it's
The winter
doldrums.
doldrums. Yes.
Exactly.
Terrible.
Northwest winters suck.
You got what to look forward to. We got Valentine's Day coming up. We got
fuck
St.
that noise.
Patty's Day.
Fuck that noise too.
Bunch of bullshit holidays, right?
Valentine's Day, I don't mind as much. I hate St. Patrick's Day. And
I hate
Cinco de
both
Mayo.
of them with a
They're like
passion.
amateur drinking holidays, and all the fucking morons come out in full force, and it just, I don't know. I mean, Valentine's Day is a fucking marketing holiday. You know, it's ridiculous.
If you love somebody, show them every day.
Yeah.
For real.
Valentine's Day is set up in a way that everybody is bound to be disappointed. If you're with somebody, you have these grand expectations nobody ever lives up to. If you're not with somebody, you feel like this alone loser that's going to be like by yourself. It's terrible. It's a holiday designed to make you feel bad. Fuck that noise.
You know, it's a holiday to force you to live by society's standards, man.
Yeah, then you got people feeling all lonely and shit because they don't have anybody.
No.
Well, let's drown ourselves in cannabis and forget about it. Forget
I like
about
that
it
idea.
all, guys.
I like that idea. Cheers to that.
Listen, I mean, the thing is, guys, if you do feel like you're alone out there, we do have a Discord that's like a 24/7 chat room. You can go in there, talk to some like-minded people.
It's Valentine's Day every day.
It is. And we do send each other flowers from time to time in there, and chocolate boxes and stuff. So guys, I'm just saying, it's a resource for you. There's a ton of people in there chatting all the time, having fun, and just get on in
We'd
there.
love for you to be part of our community.
Yeah, come on in. You're never alone
Join
when you're
us.
part of the crew. That's all I'm saying. What are you smoking tonight, sir? What do you got to your lips there, monster? That dildo?
Smoking some pure Michigan live resin.
Ooh. Delicious. Meaty.
Yeah, it just, you know me, man. I love that pure Michigan. I'd say that more of my friends don't like it than do. But the ones that do
Really like it.
Yeah. Everybody's just like,
For a specific palate.
yeah, and I just kind of like those raw and funky terps, I enjoy it.
Same, dude. Same.
Yeah.
I think we really have to arrange a little like weed swap. Like the show used to be called on TV called Wife Swap.
Yeah.
We're gonna do weed swap.
I love the Chappelle Show fucking spoof on that.
That was good. I remember that, dude.
Let it
Chappelle
wash
Show
the
was
taco
so
south
funny,
of the
man.
border.
It was such a funny show. If you're like younger than 25 and you haven't heard it or haven't seen it, like do yourself a favor, go back and rewatch it all. It was like 3 seasons of utter hilarity. Before
Definitely the
age
first
of political
two
correctness.
are a priority. The third one, I could take it or leave it, but it's still good. Yeah, this first one and the second one, you gotta watch that shit,
Yep.
man.
For sure.
I could go on. We could have a whole show just talking about the Chappelle Show. Honestly, I
We
fucking love that
could.
shit.
We could, dude. Maybe one day we'll just like bring it up on YouTube and watch some reruns and just chill
Yeah.
and do like some side commentary
I'd be down.
for the youngins. Well, what about you, G3? What are you smoking?
So I have this. What is this called? Mango Sunset. It was sent to me from Frost Farmer. This stuff is from like 2000 something, early 2000 something bag seed. And he grew it out in his seriously mango terps. But this is a crazy body high. I like pulled down an entire J in like the time our intro ran. So I'm like, wow, that's a lot of a new strain all at the same time. So I can feel my heart beating in like my entire body right now.
That's nice. I love that.
I don't know where this is going to take me, so I may or may not have like differing levels of attention span during the show.
Let it take you where it takes you, G3. We'll try to reel you back in if we need to, but just don't
What about
fight
you?
it.
Stuff is
Just
fun
don't
so
fight
far. I really like her.
it. Now, isn't it interesting? I always find it fascinating that like the mango terpenes are sedative by and large.
They're supposed to be. All that myrcene, supposed to be sedative.
It's
I don't
just-
know, but then there's Mango Smile, and like, this is a definite body high, but I don't feel sedate at the moment.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I think there's outliers, of course. Like you can find like Mango Smile, very high leaning sativa that's got strong mango terps.
When
It's
I
like my
when I
jam.
first-
That right there
when I-
is my
When
jam.
I
Yeah.
first grew Mango Smile, like I was actually a tester for that strain, and I didn't find it to be a sativa effect at all. It fucked me up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, like it really fucked me up.
and like sedate you, like body high, kind of couch locky.
Yeah, like it just I don't know. I just got really dumb and stupid and like duh fucking weed. And everybody that smoked it said the same thing. So I don't know if maybe things changed once they started mass producing it.
I don't know. I mean, they say the Mango Smiles that are coming out now are different than the Mango Smiles that came out like
Yeah.
in their initial release.
I think that the same could be said for just about all their strains.
I mean, that's the auto flowers,
That's the-
part of the game.
And they were
That's how they
fucking
work.
Hard part.
huge. Some of the biggest autos I've ever grown. They were fucking monsters. They
Yeah,
just
those
overtook the
supermodel
tank.
phenos.
Yeah.
Love them.
For sure.
If I could get that back again, I would grow it. I do have a couple of Mango Smile beans, but I don't know if it's going to be the same, and I don't want to be left disappointed. But it's just going to
Don't think
like
you can
G3
be
says,
disappointed.
fuck
with
around
Mango
and
Smile.
find out, right?
No, I
Yeah.
think if there's anything that they preserved over all else, it's those mango terps. You know what I mean?
Right. See,
No,
I
that's-
love the reason that Mango Smile is like my baby is because she's the perfect combination of those beautiful mango terps, like slightly overripe mango terps to rotten mango terps. And then you've got the super focus. Like she is some get shit done weed, and she does not make me racy. Zero anxiety whatsoever.
Yeah, I enjoyed like the rotten, funky, like past its expiration date mango smell. Like that's kind of what I got off of it, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was definitely good smoke.
For sure. Now, I'm enjoying the last half of a. Hold on. Whew. So this is another pheno of my local skunk from Dominion Seed Co. Duke Diamond, and this one's leaning a lot more orangey, but super skunky at the same time. It just has this like orange juice underlying note, not a zest, but a juice. And it's fucking awesome, man. Like I think this is the one out of all the plants. Not this pheno in particular. I'm just saying this local skunk. Out of all these diesels and sours that I grew, this is the one that no matter what jar I pick up, now look at the shape of this bud. It's like someone giving you the finger. You see that?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Offensive.
The
Super
natural shape of
foxtail.
the bud was just like foxtaily and shit. Like it's just
When they're genetic, I
almost
think
land racy.
foxtails are beautiful. I really
Yeah.
like them. It's when you don't want them that you're like, what the fuck?
Now this weed, like no matter what jar I pick up of this stuff, like I cannot stop smelling it. I can't. It's intoxicating is the only word that I have to describe the smell. Like I mean, it's infectious. It just you smell it and you're like, I just what the fuck is that? There's like a whole symphony of terps. You can't really. I mean, it's skunky and it's funky and it's like almost nasty, but like in this intoxicating way where it just is like nothing I've ever smelled. I can't stop smelling it. Super unique, and you just know when you get that pungency in your nose that it's going to affect you in a very strong way too. Like they say the nose knows, right? You can always
Absolutely.
judge good weed by its smell, I think. And like when if I were to if someone were to hand me weed that smelled like this, I would, I'd be like, I'd put that shit right in my pocket and be like, all right, I'm taking that if you don't mind, or we'll enjoy it together on the spot because, thank you very much. That looks delicious, and I think I'll enjoy that. Yeah, man. It's definitely a focusy weed, like G3 was saying about the Mango Smile. Not a sedative strain. Gets me motivated, honestly. Gets me creative. Gets me like
I love
wanting
those.
to engage with the world, and that's a fucking that's a rare aspect of cannabis
Yeah,
these
I would say
days.
so.
I find.
Well, it kind of coincides too with the way people are these days. Like I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. Like people were outside doing stuff more. Even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Um,
Dude, I think
kind
it's the weed, man. I really do.
well, I mean, that could be one
Somewhat.
theory, but a
Listen,
lot
I
of
like
people just, I think it's an entourage
it
effect with the
is.
weed and
The
everything
video
else. Like
games and
video games, like you just have everything you
the
need at your
news.
fingertips. Like people don't go to the movies much anymore. Like
You
I
got
don't
streaming
care.
service, right?
Yeah, like we have everything we need at home, generally speaking.
You don't go to the mall because you got Amazon,
Yeah,
But it's almost like I don't know. I was trying to explain it a recent show. I do think that there's some like terpene or some effect of cannabis of years past that has been bred out of it, whether that was intentionally or not. Like probably not. It was probably just people in a commercial facility looking for particular commercially viable traits like an 8 week flower time, like a resistance to bud rot, even in like a super dense cola, that type of thing. High THC percentage, like all these things that were the market selected for. I think in a lot of ways bred out a lot of the things that we loved about cannabis, like the terp profiles that were lesser known, that were more exotic, that just got you more fucked up or in a different way. I really think there's something to it, man. I really do. So,
I mean, so there are over 200 different identified cannabinoids in weed. And you
really.
start pushing that THC, you're going to lose a lot of those 200. And I mean, we already know that the entourage effect is like, it can be crazy. You can get different highs based on how things interact with each other. If you have way more of those together, you're going to get a variety of effects. And then everybody's system is different. So everybody experiences it slightly different. Some very different.
well, what you say makes a lot of sense because I mean it's the sum of all its parts. there's only so much. Like if you load more THC and you breed for that, there's going to be less of other things, whether it be certain cannabinoids or terpenes.
It's they call it what is it, a zero sum game,
Yeah,
right? Like it's we've used
Mm-hmm.
this analogy before. It's like when you're building like a video game character and you only have 10 points that you can select like five different categories, and like, you know, you can either add all 10 points to like bag appeal, which is what a lot of people did, unfortunately, or, you know, 5 points to THC percentage, 5 points to bag appeal. Then you lose, you know, minor cannabinoids, you lose terp profile, you lose,
yeah.
I don't know what your fifth category is, but it's like, yeah, you only have 10 points to work with. You got to build a balanced character from those 10 points, or the best strain you can possibly think of. But like, yeah, if you add it all into that one
And look,
thing, you're
everything in
taking
life is
away
like
from
this,
others.
and you could take anything. I mean, shit, driving. All right, like if you're taking a corner, you're either gonna fucking take it fast or actually be able to turn it tight because you're going slow enough. Like you lose steering on your car the faster you go. That's just a fact. Like you can only go so fast without losing control. So like if they're breeding for fucking THC and that's dude, I see it all the time. That's the first thing people ask. Well, what's the testing at? It's like, man, really? Like because
No,
I've said
it's
it
a
before.
pet
I've
peeve
smoked
now.
shit at like 15, 16% that fucking
Oh,
rocked me.
that like get that that'll drop your dick in the dirt sort of weed.
Yeah.
I know,
Balance
man.
in all things.
It's those sub 20 percenters. I'm telling you, dude. Like those will fuck you up and
Mm-hmm.
like creep up on you, and you'll be like, listen, I was I was indulging in my skunk, okay, and like I perhaps overindulged today, and I had a dentist appointment earlier, okay, and I went to the dentist after like a couple bong rips.
Was it at 2:30?
It was, no, it actually was 11:15, but I get the joke. But dude, I was way too fucked up to be at the dentist. Like way too fucked up. I wasn't that fucked up when I left the house. And I got to the dentist and like got into the dentist chair, and I'm sitting there just like this. I don't want to be doing this right now. This
They have
no.
made an error.
What have I done? What have I done? And they started doing like the suction thing and the sonic
Here's
what they
the
call it,
thing.
dude.
Keep in mind,
I was
if
too
if
fucking
you're
high.
going in for anything like super painful when you're going to the dentist, don't go in stoned because it raises your pain tolerance. And let your dentist know that you're a user so that they can adjust their anesthesia and analgesia to help you so you're
For
not in
sure.
there
Listen,
in pain.
we've talked before. If you're doing like a surgery or anything, definitely let them know you're a user because they have to adjust the dosage.
Yes.
But I was in for a cleaning G3, and they were just
And well,
doing
that's
like the.
still
I was just like
balance in all
freaking.
things.
I felt like I was abducted by aliens. The fucking light
You
shining
ever
in my
been called
face,
out
and
though? Like you've ever been in a situation like that and you've been called out for being high? That happened to me
No.
last year when I was doing physical therapy at the I'm sitting there and she looked down, she looked up at me, she looked down, she's like, "You're stoned, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes."
it takes one to know one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
It's true.
I think part of me would be slightly mortified in that situation.
I just
But isn't
laugh.
that sad? That's still the stigma right there.
Takes one to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird you bring that up. Like I've never been one to like I guarantee you, I'm always the person that's more high than everyone else in any given situation. Okay, but I don't like to advertise that fact. In fact, I can function like everyone else, like on a normal level, and just interact with people and go about life. I've been doing this my whole adulthood. You know what I mean? But yeah, most people can't do that. Most people definitely can't do that.
Keep their shit together.
Definitely not, man. Definitely not.
Amateurs.
No, it's true. Like most people when they get baked, like you know, you've all seen it. You work with people, right? Like they come in, you're like, dude, totally tell what you were just doing on lunch break.
I mean, I'm sure I've smelled like it at times. You
Yeah,
just can't help that. But like, it's one of those with me. It's like a takes one to know one situation. Like I said, it's you really. I can hide it well, and I don't like to. Like I'm not like exactly proud of the fact that like I'm high all day
yeah.
every day.
I
Just
got some
maybe
good
that's
tips
weird.
for
I don't know.
those of you who want to cover that shit up at work. First of all, don't smoke joints. That's like the worst.
You get
You're,
the finger resin.
yeah, like you're gonna stink. I mean,
Telltale.
right? And it's always your breath, like that will give it away a lot of times. So like breath mint, throw a pair of shades on if you can, maybe some Visine to help get the red out. Uh,
For sure.
you know,
Captain's
that
menthol drops.
yeah,
Menthol eye drops.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you do those a couple minutes before you go in, so you don't like fucking look like a weirdo.
See, we got Norma. What's up in the chat? Norma's been high in every job he's ever done. He says, and
Yep, I can
listen,
pretty much say the same.
same. Not only was I high at the job, but I went in high for the interview, most likely. So that was like how they got to know me. I've never been anything else but high to these people. You know what I mean? That's my homeostasis for them. That's just normal state of being.
You want to throw somebody off when they say hi to you, just be like, "Yes, I am." How'd you know?
Oh, it like I said, dude. Most times when if people do call you out, they're just jealous they're not high. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all
yeah.
it is. But yeah,
You ever been
let's.
like at the line in store and somebody like, "Oh, you smell good," like,
Damn right I do.
uh,
Damn right I smell my fingers too.
yeah.
So I found G3 mentioned that there were over 200 types of terps. Right?
Cannabinoids,
Cannabinoids, sorry.
but there are a whole bunch of terps as well.
So
They're discovering more all the
I
time.
got a
I'm sure.
wheel we can look at to kind of look at the
Like
terp
the Wheel of Fortune.
It kind of looks like that, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Kind of
stuff is so
does.
cool. I'm such a nerd for this right now.
So
What the fuck?
this is our terp chart, and I know it's super hard to read because there's so much info on it.
Does kind of look like
You know what it looks
It's
like?
really easy to look up, though. You can just look up like terpene wheel and find the ones that have the actual names of the terpenes in them, and they're all
You know
very
what it
similar
looks
to
like
this.
is you have that game when you were a kid is called Simon. It was
Yeah,
like red. It was like you had to like push
Oh yeah,
the
I used
red,
to
yeah,
love
you had
that
to
blue,
do it
thing.
and
in
the green.
order.
Yep. But if it didn't say Simon Says or something, you'd get I don't know how it worked.
No,
It
that was
reminds me of this.
the Simon Says game, like the physical game.
Yeah,
You're getting the two confused.
I am. You're right. This was before we had cell phones, guys. Before we
Oh
had
yeah.
cell phones, there was like a game I remember getting for Christmas.
No,
Looked
Simon
just
was
like
the
this.
shit. I love that game.
So, man, look at all these terps though, and they're organized into like the sweets and the earthies, the sours and the spicies as they come through as like taste wise. But just looking at starting up in like the violet section, I'd say you got I can't even I don't even know what that one says. Serenol? Does that sound right? Serenol? Okay, we got linalool, farnesol, beta ocimene, cymene, alpha terpene, alpha pinene, beta pinene, camphene, nerolidol. This sounds like I'm reading a fucking like a pharmaceutical ad.
Yeah.
Neroladol. That sounds like something they'd come out with for
Yeah.
like
In rare cases,
may
death
cause
may
sudden
occur.
death.
Yeah.
Nerodinol definitely causes sudden
Yeah.
death in some patients, but yeah, man, look at all these terps, like most of which I haven't even heard of or can
No.
pronounce. But like you got your limonene, your beta myrcene, your beta caryophyllene. Holy shit, right? And these are just the ones we've discovered and identified. So like
Hmm.
again, like the entourage effect is real, guys.
Certainly is. It certainly is. And me and Cap were talking before show, right before G3 popped in, and talking about like aromatherapy, how these terpenes, you get some sort of benefit from it. What I don't know, but you like, you do every time you crack open that jar or that bag or whatever, and you stick your nose in there, and that brings you pleasure. It's because of the terpenes. I mean, look, people have been using aromatherapy for fucking centuries, and it only makes sense, right?
It does. It does. I
Hmm.
mean, good smells are just like they transport you to like a happy place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Smell is one of those. It's a very unique sense. In that like they say it's most tied to memory.
Hmm.
It's kind of like it. You can smell something and like an emotion. You can feel an emotion like right away.
Well, that and I can like remember smells. Like
Yeah.
I can think of coffee and I can smell it right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like yeah, it's special, man. And that's why if your fucking weed doesn't have any terps, because you know, generally speaking, probably dried it wrong. Nobody's gonna want to fucking smoke it, or you know what I mean?
That's
Right. It's
truth,
like
All,
man.
eating a steak with a cold. You're going to miss half the experience.
it's the worst. It's so annoying eating with a cold.
Yeah, I can't
You
I
taste
like
know.
anything.
you blow your nose just to get like a half a second of taste, and it's all gone.
Just a little bit. That's all you need sometimes. Right? But even on this wheel, they have like, the different effects you get from the terpenes. Like,
I mean, think of it. Like, I think it's linalool is a terpene that's commonly found in lavender. What's lavender do? It's very calming. Okay, well, is that a chemical effect of the essential oil in itself? Like,
yeah, no, that's interesting.
these
Like,
definitely
because
have different effects on the
you're
body.
you're right. Like, linalool is this
Hmm.
blue right up here in the upper right quadrant, and the effects are listed as calming, sedative, stress relief. Some like scents you might get are like rosewood or magnolia, honeysuckle, or yeah, even lavender.
Hmm.
Yeah, super interesting. And like what we were talking about earlier, the mangoes and what would you I'd say that's a very common terp profile. Isn't that the myrcene?
Hmm. It is.
So yeah,
So I think the four most common are, I think we mentioned this before, but myrcene, pinene, limone, limonene. I can never say that
I
one
know
correctly.
they're so hard to
Limonene and
pronounce.
beta carophylline. Those are not
All
in
right.
order. I believe because I believe beta carophylline is the second most. But anyway,
Okay. Okay.
those are the most
So
common.
the it says right here, this is the orange quadrant right here under the sour part, and it's beta myrcene, and that's calming,
Hmm.
sedative, and stress relief again. But you got mangoes, hops, and parsley as
Hmm.
Well, that
some,
kind of goes back to what I was saying, like the effect I got from the mango smile.
yeah, more
Uh,
calming, right?
mhm.
But like I'm sure I could find on here too like a thing that says, you know, energizing and focus, but
Yep.
that's more like in
Yeah.
the lemon section of, yeah, right here, focus lemon.
Yeah. So if you're getting lemon, you're probably having more limonene.
Yeah, mixed in with the myrcene stuff. Like it's just interesting the way you can kind of shape these plants and what
Right.
they
And
contain.
if you find something that you really like, I found that I really like mangoes, so I tend to like those myrcene profiles. So if I find a strain that happens to be really high in myrcene, depending on if it's super sedative or not, I might really like it. So it gets my attention if I see
Yeah,
high
yeah.
levels of myrcene on something. So it's just a way that you can kind of cater to your own tastes.
Well,
It's kind of sad that like when you go to the dispensary, 99% of them aren't giving you terp reports on the weed. They're
A
giving
lot
you,
of them do now.
yeah, it is becoming
It's
more and more
getting
prevalent.
better. It's getting
so
better.
in PA, that was one of the things that, like, when I went to the dispensary the first time, that was one of the things I thought was very impressive about what we do in our state. All the terps are listed, like it's all
Hmm.
tested, and like the cannabinoids are listed in order, like an ingredients list, an order of appearance. You got like the most dominant to the least dominant, and you can, if you understand this terp wheel, you can go in there and be like, these are the effects that I'm looking for. You can know your terpenes and shop based on that, basically. It's,
Or if you don't, that's what bud tenders are supposed to be
yeah,
trained
right?
for. Literally, that's
They
their
should.
job. They
Should.
should just do their job. So
That's
use
asking
them
a
as a
lot.
resource. This is the stuff that they're supposed to know, right? Like they're trained in this.
Bro, you got to try that $70 cookies eighth.
Yeah.
That's the one I'd go for, bruh. No, I'm sure there's great bud tenders out there. My point is, do your own research, know your
Hmm.
own terpene preferences.
Be your own advocate.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't go to the dispensary often, but one of my favorite things to do when I go to said dispensary is just observe. Like I'll stand back and I just watch and I listen. And 99% of people are going up just asking what the highest THC percentage is. And you can almost see the bud tenders just fucking roll their eyes as they
I
get asked
know.
this
They're like,
question.
well, actually, have you heard about the, and they get cut off right away. Like,
I'm sure
yeah,
they
I'll take that.
do.
I'll take that
Yeah.
that wedding cake that has a
Yeah.
30% THC.
Gotta be
Thanks.
frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And it's frustrating to me too. And I don't even fucking work there. Um, I
I
just
know.
want to like grab them and shake them like you fucking idiot. Like you could get so much more out of this plant if you
It's for
try
your
something
own good, man.
other than the highest THC percentage
Yeah.
they're offering. I mean, come on,
They'll
man.
understand one day, man. I
Come
think
on, man.
it takes you got to be cultured in this scene, man. It does. You don't just come in right away and understand things like the entourage effect. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You got to. That takes a little bit of. You got to be a mature smoker.
Yeah, you're right. I guess at the end of the day, like most people see it as, you know, the most bang for their buck,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And
so,
but what if I told you that the most bang for your buck came from the sub 20 percenters?
yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Hmm. Like like real sour diesel, it usually doesn't have a higher THC percentage. But I promise you, if you fucking smoke that shit, your fucking dick is gonna be in the dirt, and you're gonna be
Hmm.
fucked up.
Mm.
I'd love
Um,
to get a like terp report of this skunk stuff, man. I guarantee you there's some
I
really
don't know
obscure
about it in
shit.
PA, but up here you can get a test done for I think for like 50 or $60, and it'll give you your
Hmm.
terpenes
I think there
profile.
is. You can
Yeah,
in PA.
Maybe I'll look
I
into
think
that
there's a
because
lab somewhere. I don't know that
it's
it's cost effective, but there is one in
I just
Pennsylvania.
wonder what the legalities of it,
uh,
because I know in PA like you're not allowed to.
how about I just
You know,
give you guys some samples and you
But
try to
I
help me?
believe like it's set up so people can have the whatever bud they purchased tested.
hmm.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Well, I
would
could
look
just
into it.
put the bud that I grew in like one of my old dispensary jars. How about that?
There you go.
Then it's illegal.
there you go.
Yeah, right. No one will know. No one will know.
You know what's funny though is I knew somebody that got in trouble because they had a jar that their friend gave them from a dispensary. Because you're not supposed to like,
No, yeah, it has like their names on it and shit.
you're just not supposed to like, you know. At first, it's funny when the mass dispensaries first opened because there wasn't many of them. There was a certain class of people that would go around to like dispensary to dispensary to dispensary to dispensary and just buy a bunch of shit and then resell it. And I don't know. I want to meet the suckers they were selling it to because the prices were ridiculous here. When dispensaries first opened up, they were like $60 an eighth.
Yeah.
How are you selling? And it was 60 an eighth all the way up. There was no like discount for buying a zip. So like, how are they making money while paying those prices? I want to meet the suckers they were selling
Yeah, right.
to. Now that's all within a couple. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. Like when you started seeing, like, I mean, dispensaries have been around longer than that, but like when they started like coming in like gangbusters, we're talking like 3-4 years ago. Okay, maybe let's just say 5. Now it's like there's places that you can get like ounces of flour for like $100.
That's not half bad, too.
And sometimes even less. And this is the argument that I get from people when I say, dude, why don't you grow your own? He's like, man, I tried, and I just go to fucking X and I just grab my shit. And it's actually cheaper because I couldn't do it right,
Man,
so it's like,
I get that too. I mean, I understand it. Listen, we've talked about it. I work at a brewery. Okay. I like to drink beer. Okay. Do I brew my own beer? No, I do not. Why? Because I'm not good at it. I tried and I failed miserably. Like, I did a lot of research. I tried really hard. I invested in a bunch of equipment and I got a yeast infection.
oh, so you not want to know how I failed brewing beer?
Bottles were blowing up in the garage.
Yeah,
it was
that's
terrible.
what happened to me. I was blowing shit up, dude. And fucking, that was it. One time, never did it again.
Dude, yeah. Like, so it's like, why go through the trouble of the aggravation, the work, the effort, if you don't like love the process?
You have to have the passion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what drives us.
Like, in the beer, I'm just like, I just like to drink a beer and like, that's it. Like,
and dude, that's the same argument I get from people. I just want to smoke a joint, man. Like fucking. So I guess I get it. You kind of put it into perspective.
It is. So we just need to absolutely require the best from our dispensaries.
Yeah.
If that's going to be how most people access their medicine, we just have to require them to be the best they can be.
Or open up the market to like caregivers or some type of like, just make it fucking like beer, like home brewed beer. You can bring the beer that you brewed any fucking place and like sell it or give it out to people.
Prohibition,
it doesn't matter.
It's gonna take there's gonna be a process.
Yeah.
You don't just swing from one side to the other.
It'll happen.
You've got to take the steps on the way.
It'll happen. But so G3, you mentioned before the show you had some interesting shit going on in your garden.
Oh, yes. I was like, what are you talking about? I have no memory of this.
Some very interesting shit.
Some good ass weed.
I want you to talk about what's going on in your garden.
Mama's here.
Oh, what's up, Mama?
Hi, beautiful. Yes. So I do have
woman crush. Woman crush.
Oh my gosh,
Wednesday.
she so is.
How are the mushrooms doing? Good.
So good.
Yeah,
I'm actually mine was like a solid cake, and I messaged her and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? It's not fully colonized. And she's like, shake the shit out of that jar. So I did. And the next day it was completely colonized. They're ready for the monotub. Like now. They need to go in tonight after the show. So happy.
Nice.
Yeah, so the mushroom grow along is really fun so far. She's absolutely brilliant. The whole process has been amazing and really accessible and user friendly. I think everybody's been happy with it.
Good.
So yes, other than my beautiful colonized mushroom jar, I have a super fun Mandela effect from Night Owl, and she is showing signs of fasciation.
All right, fasciation. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First thing I want to mention is the Mandela effect. Do you know what that is, by the way?
I do.
like, okay,
worldwide hallucination, basically.
was it or was it
people
not?
changing, it's history changing, kind of people, a group of people remembering something that supposedly didn't actually happen, is what the Mandela effect
I'll
is.
die on this hill. There was a movie with Sinbad that was a fucking
Yes, yes,
Absolutely,
yes,
there
back in the
was.
day.
yes.
And it
There
was also
absolutely
called the
was.
Berenstein Bears, right?
Yes.
Not the Berenstain
Stain.
Bears.
No.
Right?
It was
No, it was the
always
We all
Bernstein
remember
Bears.
this. Okay, listen, I have a theory, honestly. My theory is that this is like some sort of psyop to determine
There
to what
is
extent they can delete
a conspiracy
history.
theory.
Like, this shit happened. We all remember it. Like, and they're starting with this little, like, minute shit that you're just like people
The
will
fruit
think
of the
you're
loom
cra-
cornucopia.
Yeah, there was a fucking cornucopia in that picture. Like, yeah, like
There was
I'll
a woman
die
who
on-
found it. She found proof. Like one of her old shirts, she found a shirt that had the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia on
I
it.
definitely remember that. 100,000%.
and like,
Yeah,
wasn't
but
it like,
they went to like the
it was after her shrink told her to just like drop it. No, just drop it. Just drop it. Like, no, it's not worth.
I don't know. This is like
it's not
seriously
worth it.
tin hat category here. But fasciation,
So, wait. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But
Mandela effect.
Mandela
Yes.
effect is a fucking psyop, okay? This shit, we all remember it, guys. Like, die on these hills is what my point is. You might think it's minute. It's not. It's not. Okay?
Nope.
Like, we all remember it. Like, no, there's a cornucopia, Berenstein Bears, etc.
Like, this is a cannabis show, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But like, what is the motive behind like trying to tell us all that these things didn't exist when I know for a fucking fact they did?
It's like I said,
It's
dude,
to
it's
see how
to
far
see
they
how
can
far
push.
they can like tell you
Convince.
that gaslight you, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, these things that you remember didn't happen. Like, no, you're just crazy. They didn't happen. No, just stop thinking about it. Drop it. Like, it's a fuck.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. You've gotten me started. See what happens when you get me started? So anyway, G3.
Yes.
Fasciation, right?
Fasciation has
Not
nothing to do with railroads.
Fascism.
Yeah.
Or,
Nothing to do with controlling
Yeah,
railroads.
that's the first thing I thought of
nothing
when
to
she
do with
said
like I don't want to do that. The fucking Roman salutes and Mussolini and all that stuff. That's not fasciation. Okay.
No.
I'm gonna bring up a website because this is super interesting.
It is. This is my second plant with fasciation too, so I feel very blessed. Mother Nature likes me a
I've
lot.
yet
She gives
to
me
see
the
a
fun
plant
ladies.
in person experience.
Look at that.
Sure.
I've seen that before. So that's fasciation. It's a very hard thing to say.
And sometimes it's common in some species of plants, like crested cactuses are a form of fasciation. But in cannabis, it's somewhat rare. They say that it can be caused by genetics, and sometimes it can be caused by a wound or a virus. But anyway, something goes wonky with their DNA, I guess.
Would it be possible to pull up an image of a cannabis plant expressing
Yeah,
this?
yeah, I will try. Hold on. This is a really good summary of it, though. It says, you may have seen it on the odd flower or plant here and there, or you may be intentionally growing plants that show this unique and uncommon phenomenon. Fasciation, not fascination. Oh, God. So we have a fascination with fasciation and
Yes, sir, we do.
fascism. So,
Not fascism.
not fashion. Wait, we got a fascination with fasciation, not fascism.
Yes.
Show title. Boom. Though it is certainly pretty fascinating. Okay, is a malformation or abnormal pattern of growth in the apical meristem. That's the growing tip of plants.
Just a tip.
The apical meristem is undifferentiated tissue that triggers the growth of new cells, which extends roots and shoots and gives rise to stems, leaves, and reproductive structures. In the case of fasciation, this new growth is abnormal and often appears as flattening, ribboning, swelling, fusion, or elongation of plant parts.
Yeah, and
Isn't
you
that
can
weird?
see that especially on cannabis stems. The stems get really thick and kind of ridgy and flat. So I could tell on this, I was like, this ain't growing right. And then I started seeing this like super thick, flat, dense stem, and I was like, oh, we got some fasciation going on. So I saw this once before on one other of my plants. It was just one branch, ended in a bud that was like long, like that daisy right there. It's super cool. Unfortunately, fasciated buds are not known to be super potent or particularly good in quality. They're just really
Ah,
interesting.
really?
That thing looks like it should talk.
I know, right? I'm like, it's like
Look at me.
the
I am
twist.
different than the rest.
Oh my god, it's just a mouth. I know. I feel like it has like a Barry White voice, like, "Hey, baby."
Somebody needs to take that and put some eyes on it. See a couple of eyes right there. You know?
Wait, so I need to bring up the bud with fasciation. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen real quick.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
pretty
that's super
good
weird,
pictures
G3.
of cannabis fasciation. I'd have you go to my Instagram, but it's all the way back, and honestly, there are way better pictures out there. But it's pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, it is.
It's going all wonky.
It's
Oh my God.
wild.
Yeah, I've totally seen these types of things before. Okay. We'll just bring up my Google search results page. Boom. Like, this is the thing that I think I've seen more than any,
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
I've seen that, but not like on one of my personal plants. I've seen it like people post about it. It's always wild looking.
Right?
Mhm.
Like this.
Yeah,
kinda
they look crazy.
thing.
They have a lot
That's so weird.
of like leaf to calyx ratio. It's just super neat.
It is neat, but like not exactly what you want to see for like homegrown purposes, I guess. I
Do
don't
they
know,
have a
unless
good
you're just-
picture of one of the stems?
It looks like a little caterpillar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kinda. I
One
like
of the
them. I think
stems,
they're
yeah.
pretty.
So like this.
The stems are really neat. Yeah, see, so how you could tell that the surface itself is very ridgy. You see there's like peaks and valleys in it, where generally your stem is kind of smooth and it's flat. If you could see the side of that, it's probably a fraction of the depth of that width.
Wow. Yeah, that's really, really weird.
What's that fourth picture there? Can you click that one? I want to see if that stem is a good
This
picture.
one?
The stems are just so really neat. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. That's crazy.
It is. I've had stems like that before, but they didn't show traits like those buds did.
Sometimes it might
weird.
just be a little bit like mine kind of just looked like a double bud almost. It was just longer. If I wasn't really paying attention, I might have missed it.
So is this genetics or environment or stress?
It's gotta be genetics.
Yes. It's either genetics or something goes wonky with a virus or something. And when they're very young with a wound, I don't know. There's
That's wild looking.
you read different things and people are kind of like,
Oh.
So look, this is harvested bud from a fasciated plant, I guess, is what that looks like to me, right?
I
like
think
a
that might be
brain.
a cactus.
Was it? Okay, never mind. Stop sharing that. That's really, really fucking cool, G3. I mean, I hope you grow it just to see what happens.
Oh,
but,
of
like,
course I'm gonna.
you know,
What else am I gonna do with it?
I don't know.
Kill
He's
it?
not gonna.
You've
No.
been
G3's
known.
never
You've been
snuffed a
known
plant in her life
to
unless it
snuff
was a
some
male.
plants.
Oh
He's
yes.
not gonna snuff nothing. But if you do, make sure you make a snuff film.
Absolutely.
I would never, ever, ever kill it. Yeah, she's gonna be fun to watch. It's an exciting run, and they're all on autopots. That like, just do your thing, girls.
Yeah.
They're great. They're blowing up.
Yeah, I'm almost at the turn on the autopot phase of my grow. Very exciting indeed.
Close to freedom. The shackles are almost off.
Almost. But in all fairness, like when you have them in the plastic autopots to start, they stay nice and like you don't have to do shit if you get the soil wet and then put a mulch layer on top. Like those tiny plants aren't gonna suck up that much moisture. So like you don't. I water them twice maybe in 3 weeks, and then I turn on the auto pots.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the grow when you first turn on those autopods and you watch the trays flood.
Yeah,
And it's like you look at each one, like, yep, that one's filling, that one's filling, that one's filling. Like, I don't know, I
Happy
just love it.
girls, happy girls.
that's right. I mean, it really is fun. It's you feel like the flood waters have been released. Like you're. I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. Like you're right. You're right.
It's liberating.
It is.
Yeah.
You
Open
can
bar. Go have fun, girls.
It's the free refills part of like the open. I guess I like to think of the soil as like the all you can eat buffet. But what's an all you can eat buffet without free refills? Right?
Yeah. Eat your autopots.
Yeah.
Or whatever sip container automated watering
Yeah,
system you
speaking
happen
of, that's
to
where
love.
they get you the drinks. Like you got to pay for them drinks.
They do. They do. It's all one and the same to the plants. Like the the water is what facilitates the uptake of the food. It's all part of the same. Can't think of it as the
It's one
plant drinking and then
symbiotic
eating.
relationship.
It does one as part of the same process, but like, yeah. Anyway, I'm right there. 14 days into a grow of 2 autos, and like I'm loving it again. It's like they're right at the point where they're about to blow up, and I'm ready. I am so ready for it. So I don't think I've
this is
stunned
the
them
fun
yet.
part.
Not
Past
quite yet.
seedlings, Once the autopots take over, it's like cruise control, really. They can kind of handle most things at that point.
They can. They can. So here's an interesting part of the grow that I don't think most people talk about. Like, you ever notice it's right around like where I'm at, day 14, day 15, where like what was once like this delicate little kind of fuzzy baby stem, okay, turns into like it like breaks through from the inside and it turns into more what looks like a rigid, like woody type of a stem. Do you know what I mean by that? And you can almost see like it looks like a molten skin of the baby
it kind
stem.
of like peels off.
Yeah. That's and like it's that signals to me that your plant's hitting adolescence.
Like acne.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's quinceañera. You might get some pimples, but yeah, you're kind of yeah. No, we could go on, but it's an interesting like. I'll take some pictures after the show. I mean, I don't think people talk about this very much. Like, what's actually going on there? Like, why do you get like a stem that seemingly grows out from the inside of the other stem? I never understood that.
That's interesting. I have
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's like
that is
I
a
guess why
fascinating
is
question.
not the best question for it. It's just like I don't know. Have
What's
you
going on
noticed
there?
that or like yeah? What
What's
the fuck?
happening?
It's exactly.
This thing, why does it do that?
Exactly. Like,
I'm
why
gonna
does it be
find
like
out.
that? Why be
I'll
like
report
that?
back.
I don't know. Just captain's observations. Take them or leave them. My plant busted out of its baby stem today.
I need to write this down so I don't forget it.
The molten skin of the baby stem
Baby stem skin.
remains
Really, literally.
on the stem of my plant now. It's a very strange looking sight, but yeah, I don't know. It's like at that point your
I
plant
mean,
is
it's got to
ready.
be a defense thing, right? Because those soft little baby stems are so delicate; they can be eaten in no time.
For sure. It has to be based on defense, like evolutionarily for the plant. But like for me, ultimately, it just means the plant's ready to do whatever like you want to do to it. If you're a guy who likes to do LST to your autos, like that's when you should wait till that point, I think. Wait till your plant busts out its baby stem. If you
If
want to
you
feed
it's
it,
a good idea if you're in your tent, whenever you're in your tent and they're at that period of their life when their stems are super bendy, it's a good idea to put your plants through some daily yoga. Just like bend them down manually, not too hard. You don't want to like split next to the main stem, but like just gently pull them down to keep them used to like it does help to
like
help them
holding up
spread
some
out
weight.
instead of having them just go straight up. So like just pull down some of the stems and just hold them a little bit. Plant
Interesting.
yoga. It's good for
I
them.
like it. Could you ever do like goat plant yoga?
I
You ever hear of, like
think it
goat
might be
yoga,
Might get a
dangerous.
little
That
out
might
of
be
control.
like a
They'll eat your
hot
plants.
plant yoga?
chicken
The goats will straight
fox
up eat your
grain
shit.
boat situation. So like you can't leave the goat with the plants. You can't do yoga
Can a
with
plant do a downward facing dog?
I mean, I guess depending on how you train it, sure.
I'd like to see that, I guess, or the child's pose. Like,
Go check
I don't know
out
what
the
that one is.
bonsais over on Alabrije's Discord. I bet they can do
Yeah.
a downward facing dog.
Well, yeah, I'm that's right where I'm at. Those are the only two plants that I have going right now. It's kind of nice, in all honesty, to be downsized and have like
Well,
a,
you
ma-
just
a
cut down a
manageable.
forest.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I'm done trimming, by the way. Done trimming.
congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I
That went faster than I expected it to.
Trimming sucks so fucking
it
bad.
does.
It's the
I
worst.
don't
But
mind
I
it, honestly. I mean,
can
I bitch about it when I'm in it, but I don't mind it too
so
bad.
I can report what I was concerned because, I'm a lazy trimmer. Didn't want to get around to it. I kept my plants in the tubs, right? We hang them in a tent. We exchange the air in the tent for 2 weeks. Less than that. 12 days. We then move the plants into a tub, which is like a smaller volume of air that's able to then like saturate or fill up, kind of come to a equilibrium with the moisture in the plants. Okay, it. I'm telling you right now, like I was a little worried. I left them in there too long. They're going to be dry. They're going to be like brittle. They're going to be, you know, dust when I grind them up. They're not at all. They're dank as hell. Like they're fucking sticky, greasy. Like everything has been retained the way I thought it would. And I didn't even keep the tubs in like a grow tent that was at 60/60. By the way, I did keep them in my basement, but I wasn't like actively humidifying that environment or anything like that. They were just in the tubs, and it all worked out great.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, that like when you're keeping the buds on the vine per se,
I think that
it,
was one of the keys for sure.
it slows down a lot. Like if you had like debucked that and threw it into a tote, I think it would be a different story.
That's a great addition to the point I was making for sure.
All the more reason why you should be wet. You shouldn't be wet trimming. Not you. I'm saying like people in general.
Anyone.
Um,
Wet trimming's no bueno.
yeah, and people try to speed dry shit too, or they don't take enough care into the dry. When you do a nice slow dry like that, you throw it into a tote, where before it's turned into a crisp. There's so much still internal moisture still in there, and it's just kind of like all coming out very slowly. So yeah, I dig it.
It just started the cure process like a little bit early in the tote itself. At least I feel like that's how it works for me. And I leave all the leaves. I mean, maybe I take off a couple of the bigger fan leaves, but like, whole plant in a tote, And you can be as lazy as you want, I think. Maybe there's like a couple, there's got to be a limit at a
Oh yeah, I'm
certain
sure.
point.
Yeah,
There's got to be a
definitely.
limit. But like I harvested these things over 7 weeks ago. They've been in there the whole time. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, right?
A
Yeah, I think
loophole in
so.
the system.
It is, man. Trimming is such an art that like I think there's way more to it than just the 60-60 method. You know? We can say like that's your first step in the process. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Because if you leave it there indefinitely, it's never going to dry. You have to adjust at some point for usually the last day or so. I'll
Yeah.
turn the temp up a little bit, turn the humidity down a
Tent
little
up,
bit.
drop the humidity some,
Yeah.
and then I at least transfer it to the tote. Here, I got a good question. Is there any liner in the totes? For me, I just use parchment paper. Same stuff you would use if you were
Just at the
pressing the
bottom?
weed. At the bottom, for sure. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
like to clean
Do you
the
fold it
tote.
up the sides at all?
I a little bit, yeah, a little bit. But I like to. I mean, you're trying to not to let the plants like touch the side so much. They just get laid on top of each other. I'll lay a whole plant, kind of cut it up. I will cut it branch by branch. You know what I mean? Like a whole branch, I'll lay it down, then a whole branch, another whole branch, until the whole plant is facing that same way on top of the parchment paper. Then I put another piece of parchment paper on top of that plant, and I'll lay another plant on top, branch by branch, facing the opposite direction.
Do you find that you can collect key from that, or do you get too much vegetative material at the bottom?
No, yeah, no, it really like when you're leaving the leaves on the buds too. Like I haven't trimmed anything, I haven't debucked anything. It protects the buds. Like you're
Yeah.
hanging
Plus,
them upside down, and all the leaves get like dried on top of and over your buds. So it's like a banana peel, you know. You peel
when
it
it
back.
stays that moist, you're not going to get too much key falling off.
Mm.
True. True. It is. I mean, yeah. If you want like a more sandy kind of, really, it that depends on the plants too. Genetics can determine sandy or greasy. You know, uh, what do they call them? Trichomes.
Trichomes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are the two. You either get a greasy one or a sandy one. Like we've said, that the sandy ones are great for pressing. Not so great, in my experience, for grinding and smoking. For no other reason than like the trichomes fall the fuck off and clog up your grinder like a motherfucker.
They do.
Okay?
It's terrible.
You have to, and like your grinder won't even turn at a certain point if you have those sandy terps, sandy trichomes. For for me, like I'm a flower smoker. I kind of prefer the greasy ones. That's what I think does best in a flower form.
Mm.
So
No, it makes sense. I mean, I like them both. I like growing the greasy ones better because I just like touching them. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, look at that greasy bitch.
she's dirty. But yeah, I mean it's to each their own. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was cleaning my grinder like every other day with my last harvest. It was all sandy terps, man, all sandy trichomes. So
I feel like you lose a lot of things that like it almost requires you to add keef back on when you're losing so much when you're grinding
yeah,
them.
yeah.
That's one of the reasons I
It's
ripped
like
keep screen out of all my grinders.
I'm really starting to convince myself to go to a one stage grinder.
I just like why would
I
I
think
want to take away my
they're the
keef?
way to go. G3.
I'll
Why
just
Yeah,
rip that
like
shit right out.
and it's
why
like
not want to taste and experience the best part of the weed that I've grown? I want to experience all of the weed that I've grown, not just
Yes.
this part and then save the best part for later. No,
And
it's making less and less sense to me.
if you
Yeah,
want
plus
to
it makes
smoke the
for like a
flower,
nice
yeah.
deep like well too, like this diamond grind. Look how deep this shit is without the screen. I could grind like a fucking
So you just take that layer out and then just reconnect them. So instead of a 3-stage, it's just
yep. Because if
Okay.
you just take the screen stage out, your grinder becomes much shorter, and you get
Right.
less torque that way, and it's harder
Uh-huh.
to turn it. So I just pop the screens out. Like in the diamond grind, it actually I think it unscrews.
I need to look at my grinder right now.
Yeah.
Can I just pop this out? I don't think so.
Sometimes they're just press fit in, and you can get them out. Like even a metal grinder, a lot of times the screen will be surrounded by a frame that's plastic. You can just break it if you have to get it out.
I don't know if I can open this one. It's been down here a while.
All right. We're at that point in the show, folks. I'm sorry. We got the ending music kind of rolling now, and the credits have begun. But I wanna thank everyone in the chat, as usual. Thanks for joining us tonight. Wherever you found us, if it's on the YouTube channels now, we're streaming to YouTube. That's cool. You can watch our show on YouTube live or as a repeat on YouTube. So all these episodes will remain on our YouTube channel now. It's nice. A lot of people are going to like that. Yeah, thank you for joining us. We love that. The interaction between the audience live is super interesting. It's great. I also want to thank some new Patreons. We got old Ronnie. What's up, old Ronnie? He
Thank
messaged me
you.
last night. Good
Way
guy.
better than the new Ronnie.
The new Ronnie sucks. We like the old one. He's awesome. We got F5THC. Thank you very much,
Thank
man.
you.
You're awesome. We got Cervix Masher. Whoa, Cervix Smasher. Holy shit. Cervix
Bravo.
Smasher.
Bravo.
Oh, it's a play on words. I get it.
It's very
Flabbergasted.
clever. Thank you,
took
sir.
me a minute.
We
Yeah,
get some
thank
clever
you.
people
Thank
in the
you,
community,
man.
man.
You're a funny dude. Holy shit. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Everyone else who's still a Patreon, we love y'all. Thank you. Reminder, we have a Discord if you're not already in there. Come on and join us. It's like an AOL chat room that's just going all the time. So no fear, even if you haven't used the app before. I mean, if you're an old fart like me, just think of it like AOL chat room. You'll be fine.
You don't even have to talk. You could just come and lurk and learn
Come and
stuff.
lurk.
There's so much knowledge there. It's awesome.
We will try to elicit some interaction from you though. So just warning, fair warning.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, till next week, guys.
I'm gonna post a link real quick to the Discord.
Do
Bam.
it.
That way it's in the show.
Nice. Yeah, guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't joined click on there, please.
Yep. Giveaways coming up from Microblife.
Yes, that's right. Keep an eye out. And we have a code from them now. I'm not going to talk about that yet because it's not active.
According to them, it'll be active tomorrow.
Really? All
Yep.
right. So by the time you
Maybe
hear
you can
this,
talk about
perhaps, all right.
Starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Allegedly.
I want to see it work before I mention it. How about that?
Well, I
Sounds
mean, the
good.
code's going to be active, right? If it doesn't work, wait a day and try again.
Fair enough. The code is CCMLH15. That's a mouthful, but you guys will get it. It's like the podcast, Microblife Hydro, 15% off on their website. I think that any product you want, too, by the way. So,
Crazy.
and we'll
Yeah.
get that.
And if you want to
said,
know about their incredible products, check
yeah,
out
last
our last
show we did,
one.
we had Brett.
Such a good show.
We're gonna
So
bring
fun.
their scientists back on too, like you said, G3. Like you wanted to do that. So.
Yes, I really, really do.
Cool. Coming soon, guys. Thank you very much, and don't get caught. Whatever you do.